Welcome. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Kemper. She decided to jump up here right before I started filming. Hi, Kemper. It is October 5th, 2022. You know what that means. It is day 5 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 11. And I'm finishing up the first chunk of Puppet Master movies with Puppet Master 3, but before I really dive deep into this one, I need you to do a few things by clicking subscribe, hitting the bell, leave a like, because doing those 3 things helps me get my channel and videos out there to a much broader audience, and as well, it helps you stay notified for when Kemper decides to make an unexpected appearance, and when my videos go live. And when you leave a comment, it helps us kind of interact with one another in the comments down below, just to kind of I want to hear what you have to say about these movies, or what I may have my personal take on it and everything. So I want to hear what you have to say. So I'm going to tell you what you need to know, because this review is going to be a little long. That's why I'm kind of really jumping into the review today, is that this is a prequel. I did not realize that, because when I first watched these a while back, I didn't realize that it was a prequel. I just kind of started watching them and oh, this is before the first movie. Like, you could watch Puppet Master 3, Puppet Master, then Puppet Master 2. As of right now, I don't know how the rest of the series goes, because when the next Puppet Master review for Puppet Master 4 comes out, that will be a true first time viewing for this month. So I don't know, but as of right now, that's the order you can watch these, and that's the reason why I kind of had a little bit of a problem with Puppet Master 2, because Andre Toulon was kind of the villain, and I really didn't like that being the villain, because he is truly a victim in this movie, because he is just a performer. He knows but he has this secret where he can bring puppets to life, because he knows the secret to life, and he has brought puppets to life, and this particular Nazi kind of catches wind of what his act is, because he's caught a show that Andre was doing, and there was no strings or anything, and so he brings attention to his superior, and so they go and check it out, and his Andrew Toulon's wife ends up getting killed, and he kind of goes on the run, and then his puppets kind of start to take revenge on the Nazis and everything. So that's really the gist of the story. But what this particular installment does really, really well is it gives you some backstories on who Blade is, and as well as the leech woman, the essence of who those two people are from this movie. You really see that the leech woman is actually the soul, or that's the best way to describe it, is of his dead wife, who was kind of killed during this kind of confrontation with the Nazi superior. And then Blade is kind of a fellow Nazi who kind of repents a little bit. He kind of realizes the error of his ways, and he kind of sees things in a new light, and he takes pity on him and puts him in his soul into Blade. And the Blade is actually modeled after the superior Nazi in the movie, not Hitler or anything, but it's just it's the lead Nazi of the movie, I should say, that way. But I really liked it. And as well as just like the previous movie, we get a new puppet with Torch. We get 6-Shooter in this one. And I really like 6-Shooter as well. I want to know what happens to him between now, in the beginning of this movie, and what happened to the next couple movies. Because he's not in the next couple movies, or in Puppet Master 1 and 2 chronologically. So what happens to him? And so hopefully that kind of fills in the gaps later on in the series. But anyways, he's a very cool addition. He's very I really like the look of him. Like, he has 6 guns, 6 arms. He's a cowboy. It's just really cool. You know, I really, really like that. And then you got like the staples. You got Pinhead, I think the Tunneler as well. And Jester, you know, they're all in here. But they're just, I love this one. I really like the world building. And that's kind of why I kind of had a little bit of a problem with 2, like I mentioned, because like it really, because he, like Andrew Toulon didn't come off as a villain. He isn't a villain. And him trying to reincarnate his wife into the body of someone in Puppet Master 2, it's weird, and like it seems out of character for him. You know, I still enjoy 2 over 1, but it just seems out of character a little bit. And obviously you could tell that these weren't quite as thought out. They were just kind of like, oh, let's do this and do this, and we'll just like kind of have like ignore it, you know. But it's okay. Like sometimes you gotta do that. But I kind of want to see how the rest of the series goes now. Like, where, like, is there any more world building, any more lore? Because you can't, I'm not quite sure what else you can add. But the ending of this one does have like a kind of a cliffhanger ending. I'm sure that, the little monster that shows up the little puppet monster that shows up at the end of this one will show up eventually in 4 and 5. Hopefully, I heard those 2 were actually pretty good as well, so I'm excited to watch those 2 for the first time. So, but yeah, they're like, this movie isn't gory. It's fun, just like the previous 2. The animatronics and the stop motion, the acting, the editing, everything is just still top notch, and the full moon picture banner still has some weight behind it. I'm like I mentioned in the previous videos, I'm very anxious and worried about when the quality of these movies start to drop, because these first 3 movies are excellent. They really are. Like, if you were wanting to show someone some like horror movies, but they're not gory, but they're kind of creepy, but they're fun, these are really good. These 3 movies are fun to like in succession. Like, I would put them in chronologically order. Like, I would put this one in, then 1, because he blows his head off in the first act of Puppet Master 1, and then he comes back in 2, and then that's when he finally is killed. Well, at least I think. Well, like I keep mentioning, we'll see how it turns out in the later installments, if he comes back or not. But and I'm curious if he shows up, because most of the promotion, the stuff that I've seen him in, is real. I didn't realize came from this particular movie. So I'm excited to see what comes of 6 Shooter and the later in the series, since this is a prequel. And knowing that how Blade and Leech Woman kind of got their start, and like why they are like kind of like prominent and his life and Toulon's life and everything, and Pinhead, and they also talk about who else, like everybody else is lives in the, like they also talk about who Pinhead was in a former life, and Jester, and the Tunneler, you know, like they're I think Tunneler is in this movie, right? I'm so drawn a blank on if he is not, because he's just a staple of the Puppet Master movies. But yeah, just in general, they kind of talk about each of their backstories, and like in very quick one-line dialogues, but it's so well effective. You don't need the full backstories, like Pinhead was blah blah blah, and Jester was this, and it was just perfect. It's like, that's all you needed to know, and it says everything with just a few words. Like after seeing these couple movies, you understand how these puppets are motivated and everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's definitely worth a watch. Next time I kind of dive into the Puppet Master movies, I will start with 3, then watch 1, then 2, and kind of see how it kind of flows that way. But just based on memory, that's probably the way I would do it. But me, knowing me, I'll probably be like, no, I have to start with one and then start from the beginning, that way. I very rarely kind of break them out of order. I do that. The only one other series I do that with is the MCU movies. I will watch those in chronologically order, starting with the Captain America movie and work my way down. So, I do like doing it that way. That's truly fun that way. But yeah, this, like I said, has some weight behind it. Like it's still, Full Moon still has some, like I mentioned, it still has some weight behind it. Some, has some, like, it hasn't quite become the cheese factor that we will know it to become later on, because, like, even though it is kind of campy and cheesy, but it's still respectable, I should say, and it's still fun and everything. It's not just kind of cheaply made. It, like, the animatronics for this is, and the stop motion is, like, I know I keep harping on that, it's still really, really good. And the acting is actually pretty decent as well. I think the acting is better in the first couple movies than this one, but it never took me out of, like, no, there's no stilted acting or like very bad line delivery that really took me like, oh, that's terrible. Just like, I was actually like hooked on it from start to finish. And these movies aren't very long. These are like hour and a half movies. So like, they're really fun, easy movies to watch. And eventually, as soon as I finish all these series, I'm going to go back and watch these on commentary, because like the first 5 movies are the first time on Blu-rays, so they look really, really good. I don't know what they look like when they were on DVD, but these look really fantastic. I haven't really touched that on quite yet with the last 2 reviews, but the quality of these Blu-rays are really, really good for at least for these first 3 Puppet Master movies. So that is all I have to say about this movie. I do like the setting. I do like the setting set in Cairo. It's in Egypt. Has the Nazi setting makes sense why, because it has that Indiana Jones where Hitler has affinity for the occult and stuff like that. And I've been playing Zombie Army 4 and Zombie Army trilogy, where Hitler is just kind of I think it's documented that he's kind of been very into that stuff as well. So it's just interesting to kind of also see that they're kind of snatching up like anything that's kind of supernatural related. And just, I really liked it. The story was actually pretty good. I think, out of the first 3 movies, the story in this one is the best. Just because it really does fill in a lot of gaps, and it fills in, it kind of enhances the lore of the Puppet Master movies. And so I'm just excited to see where the series goes from here, and kind of sad because I know, like I keep mentioning in the last couple of videos, I know exactly what the last few movies look like in terms of like from the trailer only. So I'm kind of like, knowing where these 3 movies are and where the kind of ends up, I'm kind of like, I want to see like where the true drop off is. So there's like 12, 13 Puppet Master movies. So yeah, so that is all. I do have a rating scale. 1 being run-of-the-mill horror, 2 best watch with the group, 3 helps move the horror genre forward, but adds nothing new to it. Or it's a more than average horror, but adds nothing new to the horror genre. 4 helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. 3 is more than average horror, but adds nothing new to the horror genre itself, but it does add new stuff to the Puppet Master franchise, the lore, the world building. So I know Puppet Master 2 was kind of one of those rare 4 ones. I think I should have saved it for this one, but I think 3 is a good one for 3. So it's more than average, but adds nothing new to the horror genre as a whole. It just, like, this one is good to kind of stick with the franchise itself. So that is all. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can really say is Thank you.